Hello and welcome back to another super exciting, that's such hyperbole, even I can't get on board with it. It's another Lego build, Mega build, Falcon. I've left myself with this. No, I haven't. I've left myself with this, in fact. And, so, yep, I even left it on where I'm at. So I'm on step 452, page 187. Not really, I'm nearing the halfway mark. In another 2 to 3 weeks, I'll be almost halfway. How terribly enthralling that will be. There we go. So I've got sort of something playing on the back of my mind right now, an issue that appears to have cropped up that's occurred overnight. This is Saturday morning, for reference, and everything was fine last night. No issues. And then I discovered this morning that my PC, not really my PC, let's say Windows, it seems to have lost track of a hard drive, which, as you can imagine, is a fairly important part of a computer. Now, fortunately, it's not the main hard drive on the computer. I've got two hard drives. I've got a solid state drive, which is there's two solid state drives that are 1 terabyte each, but they're in a RAID configuration for some reason. So that means it's that's got like the operating system and most of the software on there. Pretty much all the programs and that are installed on there, like all Steam games, all anything I actually use. And then certain files are stored on there. Normally, like video files from recordings before they're ready before pre-editing. So I edit them from there, then I stick them on a disk drive. The second drive is a disk drive. That's the one that appears to have gone walkabout somehow. Now, in my experience, I've never had a hard drive failure actually. So I don't know, but I was of the assumption that when a hard drive fails, you would notice, like your computer would notice. There'd be a log, like, I don't know, at 2 a.m, suddenly the hard drive failed. There'd be reference to it. It would notice, but it's as though someone's unplugged it, gotten rid of any warnings about it being unplugged, and just left it there. So it doesn't appear on the what's it called, like on Windows Explorer when you look up File Explorer, Windows Explorer. It's called Windows Explorer, isn't it? Internet Explorer is the browser, and it's so that's weighing heavily on me. But the thing is, I'm not super I'm only somewhat concerned by it, which is very confusing. Because obviously it's a big issue, a hard drive failure. I think it's a 2 terabyte hard drive, and it was roughly half full, maybe just over half. There was a lot of stuff on there. I'm not an overly possessive type, so I don't know that there was anything actually on there like there's no personal pictures on there or anything like that. There's no treasured memories, as far as I can tell, that I've lost because of this, because I don't have any treasured memories. So I'm not too worried about that. Channel-wise, I think I may possibly have lost 3 episodes of The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, episodes 4, 5, and 6, which I recorded yesterday, and it would be a real bitch to deal with, because like Zelda doesn't have save files or anything that I could just go back to. I'd either have to start the game again and play up to that point and just play those again, or just skip them. I've got the face cam from it, and I've got the audio, but I may not have the actual game footage. There is one possibility I may be able to recover that, but I'm of the assumption that the hard drive isn't actually broken. It's just I've turned it off, and I'm hoping when I turn it back on, all will be well. That's my current thought. do a bit of spring cleaning as well. Use it as an opportunity to dust the damn thing. That's something that needs to be done. So that's my current thing playing on the back of my mind. It's not terrible, but it is an issue. It's one of those things where I wouldn't use it as an excuse in any fashion, but others would. Okay. How is that? I'm kind of building that blind. Oh, I'm missing a bit, that's why. It's quite exciting. I've got something planned for tonight. Well, I've got two things going on at the minute. One, I read about this weird diet that I'm currently trying, which is unlike me. I don't particularly do like fad diets or anything, but the basic system of it is, I think it's like 8-16 or something like that. You eat for 8 hours of the day and fast for 16 hours. Now, I haven't read the specifics. I don't think that means you eat for 8 hours straight. I assume it means you have one 8-hour block in the day where you're allowed to eat, and then 16 hours where you don't. I presume you still drink in that time, otherwise you would probably do yourself a mischief. And again, I'm assuming it has to be 8 hours solid. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, I take 2 hours in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the evening, and I wake up in the night to take an additional 2 hours of gorging. I'm dying from it, apparently. So that's, yeah, I thought I'd try that out today. Which I'm looking at it, and I think what it actually tricks you into doing is either pushing back your breakfast a bit, and basically making sure you don't eat late at night. And it seems like a fair plan. Like you have a choice. You can have an early breakfast and finish eating for the day early, or you push back your breakfast and you eat a bit later. But it's only 8 hours, so it's not, it's not a massive window. Like if you skip breakfast, push through all the way till midday, which is doable if you have a massive lie-in, that still only gets you to 8 p.m. at night. Which, if you're in Spain, that's barely even when you're considering where to have dinner. Right, so I need to add this to somewhere on here. Something's missing. Yes, this is on the wrong layer. That's why it's supposed to be below. That makes a lot more sense now. There we go. It's lovely when it all just fits together nicely. Alright, now I need to assemble a small yet complex series of things. So that's one thing. I'm just trying it out, seeing what it's like. There's something good about diets where you don't change what you eat. You just change like weird amounts of scheduling. It's almost like a trick. I don't like calling it a diet, really. Well, it is a diet in many respects, isn't it? But the other thing I was doing, I was on my local cinema's website. It's actually not my local. It's the one I go to. It's anything but local. But I was on their website because I fancy the film tonight. Now I could have gone and seen Ocean's 8, but someone else wanted to see that, so I've got to wait to see it with them because I don't particularly want to see it twice. I'll see a lot of films twice, but I doubt that I want to see that one twice. I might be wrong, and this would be twice in like the same week. Bear in mind. I mean, I wouldn't even see films I liked a lot twice in 1 week, except for Avengers. I saw that once and then immediately saw it the next day. That was great. So I could have gone to see that. Could go and see that, I should say. Jurassic World is an obvious choice. Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. However, I watched that last night for the second time. It was very good. It was slightly ruined by the fact that there was a group of ethnic women, 3 of them to be specific, sat 3 seats away from me. One of them... Well, to be fair to her, I could see the situation. Early on in the film, she'd clearly received like a message or something important on her phone and was trying to deal with that. And then she did get up and leave. However, she got up and left past me. Where she was sat, there were her 2 friends to her left and me to her right. She could have gone either way to get out, and she decided to fuck me over twice. So I was very useless and didn't really get up to move. I was like, I'm gonna move, but I'm only going to provide you an additional this much space to get by me. You brush as much as you want. And then after that, they turned into the discuss the film types as it's happening. There was one bit where the Indoraptor is, I don't know, but basically it's where it's attacking the heroes in the dark, and it jumps up, surprising them. And one of them said out loud, "Is that Blue?" And there was a moment of the woman next to her friend said no, and I was like, no, of course it's not Blue. Blue has many defining characteristics, one of which is that he is blue. The way you remember that is that his name's Blue, which if you can't remember that, fine. But you just said, "Is that Blue?" So you must, surely you've made the connect that he's called Blue because he's got blue on him. There's no other reason to call him Blue. Well, no, there's one of it. They gave him a B name because he's supposed to be the beta to Owen's alpha of the pack situation. But it just tickled me because yeah, they look nothing like Blue and the Indoraptor. The Indoraptor's got gold on it and looks insane. It was an odd moment. And thematically, it made no sense either. Because you'd just seen Blue fucking miles away underground. Actually, thinking about that, how the hell does Blue get back above ground? They never explained that. And a big factor of why... Yeah, that's actually a bit of a weird loophole. Because none of the other dinosaurs managed to get out, but Blue does. He just seems to walk out. Right, so that's good. Turn the page. Right, got to make essentially what I just made a minute ago. But again, it's fine. And then from that point of is that Blue, it's like the taboo had been broken for them, and they suddenly decided that it was perfectly okay to pretty much talk throughout the rest of the film. Like, oh no, it's going to get him. It's like, oh, is this happening? He's hiding. Now, I should point out at this stage in time, I described them as 3 ethnic women, and that voice I just didn't really help. They were Indian. They were old Indian women. Well, my instinct was that there were 2 generations there. It looked like sisters and a mother, but the sisters were I would peg for 40s. The mother was probably 50, 60. That kind of ballpark. Yeah. So just to immediately change your assumption of what I was sat next to. I did consider tweeting it, but I didn't know if that would come across well in a tweet. Or a bit iffy. Fortunately, I'd already seen the film, so I wasn't too bothered by it. The thing that really annoyed me was the getting up and walking past me. And then at the end of the film, because I was there to sit through to the credits, because I was told there was a post-credits thing, which there was, which I did sit through to. So it meant that they had... I was sat there. I was clearly not moving. I was making no signs of any attempt to gather belongings or get up. I was like there, and I was slouched, so I was taking up all of the space. And for some reason, the 3 of them decided to not get up and walk just out the aisle to their left, to where there was no one. They could walk out down the stairs and leave. They decided to get up and walk past me. And I made very little effort to move initially, and I got out of their way. There's a stud stuck in there. And it was a whole thing. So I was sat, I was like, look, play the game. You just walk that way, go round me. You ain't got to barge past me. If the film ends and someone isn't moving, you You've decided to sit in the centre of the row. This is your problem. This is not my problem. You leave by other means. This is on you now. You want to sit in the middle, that's the burden you take. There it is. I put a tremendous amount of thought into where I intend to sit in a screening. This is the trouble. Perhaps more thought than is necessary. I also booked 2 seats and no one will sit next to me, but that's a separate issue. That's separate. That's my own. That's my own whim. There's a weird loophole in the booking method I use, so I can book 2 seats at once and not pay for them. I'll explain what it is. It's not really a loophole. Basically, I've got a film membership, an unlimited membership to the cinema. So I pay monthly. I see as many films as I want, not for free, but within this monthly payment, which the monthly payment is roughly 2 cinema tickets. So if you see more than 2 films a month, you're sorted. It's quite a good way to save money if you like to go to the cinema a lot. That's basically all that is. So there's another little thing on here they've added. And I always book it online before I go because I'm not a savage. That way I walk there, I show them my online ticket, I walk in. I barely have to interact with any humans. It's almost the ideal situation. But my mum also has one of these cards. Sometimes we go together, sometimes we don't. But I always book for her online as well. I've got her number saved in my card, so whenever I'm booking for myself, I book 2 tickets. That way, if last minute someone wants to come with me, I can say, well, I've already got the seat booked. You buy a ticket when you get there. Doesn't matter where you sit because you can sit next to me in a good seat. So you can like buy one of the seats down the bottom when no one's going to be. So you're always going to get in and always get a seat, no matter how late the situation. And so long as you got a ticket, it doesn't matter where you sit, so long as no one else complains that you're in their seat, which they won't, because the person who's there isn't there. It's very complicated and well thought out. And it's kind of a loophole in their system that when I book this ticket, you have a photo ID, right? So I get in because I've got my photo ID. But because no one's sitting in the seat, no one needs the ID because the ticket's not being used because no one's there. I can still, so no one else can have the seat. But it's a confusing system. I feel like if they realised I was doing it, they'd crack down on it. There was a time where I knew a lot of people with these cards, and I basically would book 5 seats for myself, where I'd have two next to me, and then sometimes I'd go 1 in front and 1 behind, so it's like I have an exclusion zone. Sometimes I'd do like 2 in front of me, so I knew no one would sit there. I had like a whole system where so I'd be in like a fully rammed showing of a film and I'd be sat there. There's spaces all around me. I'm radioactive. It was a decadent time in my life. Although there was a time where I used to book what I for a time considered to be the absolute best seats in the cinema, where imagine a screen where there's stairs up the middle, seats on the sides. Back row, however, there's just seats at the top of the stairs, so there's no one in front of you and your leg room is infinite. And you're dead centre, so it's like all of the good stuff. I'd sometimes and normally if you looked at it on the booking screen, it would show up that there were 3 of these seats, but in reality, it was slightly off-centered, so there were only actually 2 of them, but it never showed you which the 2 were on the booking screen. I knew, of course, going in, but sometimes I'd book all 3, and once I got to a screening and someone was sat in one of them, and I knew I had all of them, and I didn't even have the one he was sat in, so I just said, yeah, sorry, you're in my seat. I made him move. There were like 8 people in this screen and I made the fucking move to a worse seat. And I knew going in that no one was even going to sit there, which just made it all the more hilarious to me. And it's something I look forward to doing. Like every now and again I'd have an entire row booked and I'd be like, yeah, I mean, you can come past me, but these are all my seats. Now, I should point out that only on like 3 or 4 occasions did this ever occur, and the screening was full. So it was almost never happened that I was sort of keeping people from seeing the film. I'm not that much of an arsehole. I would if I could, but normally on those sort of films, though, the people whose cards I was using would want to go. That's what would happen there. Right, so I put all this shit in place. And yeah, so the ending of that story with the free Indian woman is it's not really the ending, but it's sort of the epilogue, if you will. This is the sequel, if anything, that I'm now discussing. Is tonight I booked tickets to see a film called Race Free. I think it's called Race Free. That's race the number 3, not race free like Die Hard. But Live Free, Die Hard. Which is, I think it's a Bollywood film. I've never watched a Bollywood film. Well, I was going to say I've never seen one in the cinema, but think about it, I've just never seen one. I've seen the odd clip here and there. So this is going to be an exciting experience for me. The first thing I had to look up, though, was what language it was in. Because they really didn't say. When I booked it, it just said, like, race free, brackets, Hindi. So I was like, okay, so that's probably the audio track. That I can get behind. Then I watched the trailer. Some bits were in English. Some bits weren't. And it was dubbed at the bottom. Subbed at the bottom, English subtitles. So I thought, okay, so the film will be subtitled. I assumed. I was pretty sure of that going in. I feel like some old white men would have issues with a large cinema chain not showing any kind of subtitles. So, but then when I booked the ticket, it said audio 2D. No, film type, like screening type 2D brackets audio described, which is actually a cheat because it's not audio described. What it means is if you want the audio description, they just give you a headset to wear, which is a genius system, I know, but it does mean you have to wear a headset if you want that. I think it's if you have vision issues, isn't it? It will describe stuff on screen to help you get along seeing it. And I do always wonder, like, if there are levels of how well audio described stuff is. My assumption has always been that, like, kids films, like Disney films, Pixar, that sort of thing, would have really good audio descriptions to them. I base this on nothing, however. I just feel like, you know, films with big studios like that probably have the budget. I've messed this up. Nope, I haven't messed this up. Sorry, tell a lie. I thought I'd mess this up. I just need to build more. So yeah, it didn't say anywhere, and I was like, how do I even look this up? Because I googled the name of the film, and then English subtitles ? And then all I was presented with was 100 different pirate sites of where to watch a film, which is always hilarious to me. That I was legitimately trying to do it in the right way, and the internet was like, yeah, here's the pirate, here's how you can watch it now, you know, click this, stream immediately, download. Do you want some porn as well? Here's your porn. It's like, no, just give me the legit stuff. No, the studio's website didn't have it. No, like, it was nothing. It was like, I now understand why piracy is an issue. I always understood, but it brought it to light a bit, you know. So I ended up going on the cinema chain's Twitter feed, because that seems to be the only way to get any information out of brands nowadays, or companies, is to go on their Twitter. And I don't like publicly asking them. So I was going to DM them, but I actually went through their tweets and replies, and literally like the 5th one down was some guy asking, hey, I was going to see Race Free today. Has it got English subtitles? And someone said, yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, the company's Twitter. And I was like, brilliant. I'd like to leave you like a like or something on this, but it won't make any sense. This is where every system needs Reddit's upvote job. That's where that would come in handy. So the moral of the story is I'm going to see a Bollywood film tonight, and I think it's 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and as far as I can tell, it's the third in a series. I believe it to be Fast and the Furious. I think it is literally Bollywood Fast and the Furious. Honestly, that's nowhere in the marketing, the brief amount I read for it, did it say that. But I watched the trailers and I was like, so this is Bollywood Fast and Furious. This is what we're looking at here. So if it's, will there be songs? I don't know. Will there be an intermission? Maybe. I think Bollywood films often have an intermission. In my mind, they're all roughly 7 hours long, though, and the intermission can last for up to a week. So it's something I've always meant to do, because the cinema I go to is in an area with a large Indian population, so they do quite often have a lot of Bollywood screenings. So it's one of those things I've always said, I should go to at least one just to see what it's like. Enjoy the different tones and what have you. It would be really interesting if I'd already seen it and then I was recording this, but I haven't. So imagine if I was now talking about the hilarity that is this film. There is a chance, however, that like an hour in, I absolutely hate it and I just walk out. But that's not that bad. I'll walk into a different film maybe, or just leave. Probably I'll just leave, because I've seen literally every film, or at least every film I can be asked with. What am I looking at here? This. I'm running out of pieces actually. This is very exciting. I'm moving towards a new bag, and the size of the thing has gotten quite large now, these fins on top. I'm basically at the point where I don't think I'm going to be able to pick this up easily. Flipping it is definitely becoming a no. That goes on there. See, the thing is, I have got a rough idea of where this is heading, because it's obviously just a mirror image of that one. But not enough that I could stop paying attention to the instructions. Mainly because I built that like 2 or 3 weeks ago now. I was really unsure about doing this like as a whole series after the first couple of episodes, because I thought, would it be more fun for me personally if I just sat down and built it, because I like doing that. But I've actually warmed to the idea of it. The therapy aspect is certainly nice as well. Steam sales just started. There seems to be a rule with the Steam summer sale where basically every now and again I go through periods where I don't know what to play, and I think I need new games. I need to buy new games, despite obviously having loads I haven't played and loads of games I'd like to play more of. All sorts like that, as every heavy PC gamer goes through in his life. And then what normally happens is I think about buying new games, then I decide not to, and I'll start playing something in my library, and that game just so happens to be Fallout 4. I'm playing Fallout 4 again, and honestly, fucking loving it. I started off by doing I started a playthrough, and I was like, I'm gonna make a character who's just all melee focused. So I gave him like full strength, like 10 strength, 10 endurance. I specifically made sure he had no intelligence, because I wanted him to be dumb as a post. So I gave him no intelligence, and then token amounts of like the other ones, because they give you VATs and criticals and shit like that, and you don't want nothing in all of them. So I built that character, and it was fun for a bit, because in that game it's different the way perks and that work. It's and like leveling in general. So having level 10 in early skills, like early on like that, it gives you access to the first level of some really decent perks. Particularly endurance. Endurance is a good one. That makes you tough as fuck. But what it meant was, like early on, I didn't have much in the way of melee weapons because they're a little bit hard to find decent ones. But when I found someone who sold me a sword, and it was a serrated sword, so it was a good sword. And once I had that, my damage was just ridiculous. Like I could kill anything this ridiculously easily, and because I had so much endurance as well, I was just incredibly hard to kill. I had you have like a shitload of health. I got on a load of perks, so like I was a ghoul, so anytime I got radiation damage, I'd be healed, which meant a lot of the creatures that do radiation damage weren't like damaging me. I'd made a really strong character, but because I had no charisma or intelligence, charisma's what you need to do a lot of the settlement building stuff. Intelligence is what you need to do most of the modding stuff. Some of it is kept in, I want to say, well, some of it is in strength, like the armor modding and the melee weapon modding. But because most of that was also combined with science and that, which is in intelligence, I couldn't really mod anything, which meant I was reliant on traders and shit to upgrade my stuff. But because I was so strong, like naturally, I didn't really need armor that much. And melee weapons, there's no tool you can't use for the job. Guns, you want long range, you want short range, you want energy, there's different ammos. So like you have your really strong gun, but you can't use that all the time because the ammo will run out. So there's a lot of factors at play there. With melee weapons, that doesn't happen. You've no ammo to worry about. Everything's got the same range. There's a little bit of different damage in there, but not really. So it just meant I was almost instantly too good, and it got a little bit boring. And because so much of that game is focused around modding your stuff, like junking stuff and settlement building, and I wasn't really set up to do any of that. I just got bored with that character. I was like, I have to stop. This just doesn't work. And then I did buy Don't Starve, the ongoing saga of Don't Starve. I brought that on PC. I played it for 3 hours. And I know that time because I played it for 3 hours. I did enjoy it. And then I got tremendous buyer's remorse to the point where I was like, I want to play Fallout more right now. This is the trouble. And I was like, I'm going to refund this. I have to refund this. And I refunded it. I felt really bad because I don't really refund games. The only time I ever do is if they straight up don't work, or if one that comes to mind was a game called Hunted the Demon's Forge, which was a really fun co-op game actually. It was like one of you would be a warrior, the other one an archer. That's as much, and it was kind of cover shooter mechanics. Really fun game actually. I brought it on PC because a friend of mine had. He was like, "Yeah, let's get this and play through this again," because we played it ages ago on PS3, I think. I was like, "Yeah, that'd be fun." It's a fun game. It's not a good game, but it's a fun game. And there are very clearly aspects where the budget got hit a bit, and they had to sort of skip to an ending at one point. So we did that, and then I started to play it, and I was like, "Oh, it used some kind of online service which doesn't exist anymore." I want to say it was something like GameFly, but I can't remember what it was called. It was a big story years ago how like the server service was shutting down, so there was a huge list of games where online would no longer be an option. But obviously in that list of games, all the popular ones, I want to say something like Star Wars Battlefront, I think was one of them. A lot of classic PC games in there, but basically a lot of the popular ones, it was like, yeah, well, this has got an update, so it'll work now using whatever. So it might have been Games for Windows Live, now that I think about it. Yeah, but it was a case that all the popular games were getting like workarounds or just straight up made so that these servers no longer work, but you can now host your own servers, so it's fine. All sorts like that, and then there were other games. It was like, well, yeah, you can't play this one anymore, but the most recent version of the game works. It's like, yeah, we're no longer supporting online for FIFA 2002, but 2005 plus still works, so go for them instead. So for the most part, it was fine, except for this one game. It fell by the wayside, and I looked it up to see. It's like, oh, obviously there's a workaround for this. You just download this mod and one of you hosts a server. That's all it'll be. It'll be fine. I was like, nope. It was like clear. It's like no such thing exists, and I refunded it and said, because it says in the Steam page that these features are still in it. Because obviously, I don't think anyone gives a shit, to be honest. And they just immediately refunded it. It was a fine moment in retail powers. So I've got this, and it goes on here. How does it go on like that? There we go. There we go. And threads on to here, I'm thinking. Yes, I suspect I've made an error here. I don't suspect, I know I've made a definite error. How did I fuck this up so much? Yeah, so I refunded Don't Starve, and I was a bit skeptical if I'd get it back or not, because in many ways I didn't want it, because I was like, I did play 3 hours, and it's over the 2-hour limit. But at the same time, I was thinking, well, it's not far over it, and it was pretty well the same day as I'd got it. I will point out, the reason I did it was because I wanted to get it on Switch instead. I was like, as I was playing it, I was like, this game is basically made for Switch. I need to stop playing this now here and get it on Switch instead. Obviously, I didn't say that in the form. I made up some bullshit about, I don't know, wasn't what I expected or whatever. I even thought, you know, if they come back and say, well, you're over the time, then I was going to say, well, it took me an hour of diddling around to get it to work, or I left it running by accident, because 3 hours is barely over. But they refunded it, no questions asked. Which I feel kind of bad about, because I feel like it negatively affects them in some fashion. But I will get on Switch eventually. And then I turned to Fallout 4. I turned back to Fallout 4, in fact, at that point, and I started a new character. Downloaded a mod specifically so I wouldn't have to play through the intro again. That was a game changer. That was worth doing. I don't know what kind of stud it wants, because there's 2 available. That's annoying. I'll assume they want the kind that I've actually got any of, though. That's probably a safe assumption to make. And my current new character is essentially exactly the same as the first time I played through, if a bit more optimized going in. I got a bunch of cool mods as well, which is really nice. I never really played the game modded, so it's just different enough. And I'll be honest, it's a great game. It's really fun. I love it. The shooting's fun. The looting's fun. It activates a part of my OCD brain where, because all the junk is useful in that game, it's just wondrous. And I actually really like all the settlement building shit. I downloaded a mod called Sim Settlements, which you can kind of turn on, and it like takes a lot of the workload off you, and the settlers will kind of build shit themselves to a certain extent. So I'm seeing how that plans out, and that seems pretty cool. And I got one that makes the Minutemen a lot better, essentially. So I actually feel like the general of the Minutemen, because you can build tanks and stuff, and have them, what's it called? Have them actually like do stuff. They're useful. They're strong. And they got really cool outfits. That's another thing I like as well. More so in Skyrim, but in this as well, is just mods where a lot of mods, when you add like armor and weapons to the game, it will be like top tier stuff. It will be, this new laser rifle is better than all the rest. Sometimes it will be to like fill in a gap, like if there's metal armor and there's combat armor, they'll build a new one that sits in the middle, which is fine. I like it when there's just loads of shit, so that there's ones that, oh yeah, this one's like basically the same as metal armor. This one's a bit stronger. This one's less, and it makes the world feel like so much more. Like there's just so much going on. Skyrim was good at that. I love just the more armor and weapons mods. So it used to be like you could have, I don't know, a long sword and a short sword. Now there's like 20 different types of long sword. They all do the same shit. Sometimes they might mix the stats up a bit. They just look different and it's cool. I love it. Just adds stuff. That's my favourite. And a mod I'm particularly fond of that makes it so you can have dog meat and another companion. And weirdly, when I downloaded the mod, the modder was very sort of specific about going how, yeah, this is very lore friendly. If you look at all these details I've come up with, you'll actually realise that this was, you know, something Bethesda meant to do. And it was like he pointed out how, yeah, dog meat, he's not really a full companion because he doesn't have perks like all the others. He has less sort of capabilities in general, and he doesn't have any what's it called, any specific like quests or anything to him. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. But then they're like, but then also he doesn't. So like early on, they clearly wanted to make it so that you'd have dog meat and then your other companion as well. He doesn't affect the Lone Wanderer perk. Let's pop this over here. Right, I just need to check the instructions. I am attacking this correctly. Yeah, I definitely am. So this clip's. I remember this being difficult the first time around. Yeah, and that's just nice having dog. I like dog meat. For one, he's a German Shepherd, my favourite kind of dog. I lost mine recently. It was very sad. And for two, it's just nice having your dog. And he doesn't do that much in combat, but I like dressing him up with the more dog armor that I've modded in. Right, is that going in? Oh, it's almost in. I've got 3 of the 4 pegs in place. I need something small just to lever it just right. So currently my computer's turned off. It's a large computer. It's got a lot of fans. It's not overly loud, but because it's so large and so powerful, it's insistent upon its noise. Like it's a very low hum. You'd never be annoyed by it. It's not like one of those loud whining fans. But it's sort of noticeable, and it's turned off, and it's one of the few times I've ever been in this room recording and it's off. And God, do I notice the birds fucking singing outside now. That's the main thing. Okay, so we've got a few parts left over. The only ones I'm a little bit concerned about, realistically, is this one and these two. Because I've discovered that these are never spares, so I'm thinking I need to find where these go. I suspect if I look hard and long at this picture, I will notice where they go using my superior spot the difference abilities. Okay, so they clearly go here and here. I'm really impressed by that. I saw it almost immediately. Okay. Now the hard one is finding where this little grey bit goes. Because generally speaking, these bits are almost hidden and the only bit you can see is the inner. But I've got a rough idea where I think it might just go. But it will involve picking up and rotating the whole bastard thing. That might be enough. Now, one of the assumptions I've made is about the symmetrical nature of the beast, which if it isn't symmetrical, using my current method of locating the missing piece won't work. Right, that's front left. That's front left. So that's what I'm seeing. Right. Oh God, there was a body flex in there. The centre of gravity has changed. So just absorb the information, take it all in. That goes here. I can see where it goes. Wait. What? Well, good news is I know where it goes, and also where several other pieces go that I've missed off. I can see what's happened. This is where I've been skipping steps or not paying attention to instructions properly. You get what you deserve, don't you? Right, is there any... See, now that they're going, I'm thinking there might be a space on the other side for these too. Possible. It's possible. Oh. Let's see that. Yeah, that's... Okay. Takes a certain kind of person to worry about these details, doesn't it? Apparently I'm that kind of person. I think we're good here. I think we're good. Let's... Okay, what can I... I went to see Super Troopers 2 last weekend. I had to go and see it because I knew basically 100% that if I didn't see it that weekend, it would be gone. Because it's not... Super Troopers 1, great film. Wasn't a big film, wasn't a big release, especially over here in England. I don't think it even came out as far as I'm aware. I like the film. So I was really looking forward to seeing the second one. And it was one of them, I was like, I'll be lucky if it comes to cinemas here, and I'll be lucky if it stays on long enough for me to catch it. Ah, here we are. Yep. I think we're good. I think these are all spares now. What's throwing me off is that there's an odd open space on here, but I think it comes up later. Actually, it's quite clear that's where the cockpit goes. Why am I closing the book? I need the book open. Right, Bag 7. Seven. So there's bag 7 next, which... Okay, at some point I clearly stacked it all on top because I was looking at 8. Well, nowhere near halfway. Yeah, I saw Super Troopers 2. I liked the film. I thought it was good. I thought Farva, part of Ramrod. Which part was he? Was he Ram or Rod? I don't know. He was like scene stealer. The amount of wild and crazy energy he had was brilliant. Alright, bag 7. I think that's it. I think it's just these 3. It doesn't look like there's too much going on in this bag from the picture. In fact, I genuinely can't see what it's adding. Oh, I see what... Oh. I don't like that. It adds the bits that go on the bottom of these 2 front flanges. Yeah, I had one problem, however, watching Super Troopers 2, and it was something... There was an issue with my screening, and it was one that I would have gone and complained about, but I didn't really know how to vocalise the issue, and I wasn't 100% it was an issue. Basically... The aspect ratio was wrong in the screening. That's the only way I can really describe it without a small essay. And for parts of it, I was thinking, was this shot by an idiot who couldn't like? Because basically, this bit was cut out, and I would assume the lower bit as well. But it's very hard to tell with the lower bit because, like, if you shoot someone talking. Do you see their crotch? Do you see their waistline? Where does it end? Knees? But generally speaking, the frame doesn't end like here. You should at least be able to see all of a person's head, shouldn't you? That's kind of normal. There's, you're breaking a lot of conventions if if in nearly all the scenes you cut off the top of an actor's head. That's definitely frowned upon. But I was watching, I was like, maybe it's just me seeing this and now I can't unsee it. But then, partway through the film, there's a bit where I think someone's tripping and they think they're Japanese. I can't remember exactly what it is, but basically there were subtitles, which was crucial because subtitles in films are always in an exact place, aren't they? Like TV shows, films, whatever. They're always not quite at the bottom of the frame, which I would point to down here. Like they're not here, they're about here, aren't they? They're just a little bit up. I'd say they're one third up. They're in the lower third of the bottom third. But I suspect anyone who's studied film in any kind of major way or production or whatever will tell you that, yeah, they always go in that place. That's where they go. But those subtitles, like the bottom bit of the words was cut off. So I was like, well, that's not a choice. That's definitely an error. But then I was like, how am I going to find someone who even fucking works here? Like it's a fair walk from the screen back to the people. And I was like, what do I say? There's something wrong. And what do? Will they start the film again? Will they be like, well, we don't have a projectionist. He comes in once a month. So I just had to sort of sit and deal with it. And it didn't ruin the film, because it's not like you miss anything. There's not really any action goes on up here particularly. But once you see it and you know it's a thing, you can't unsee it. Okay, so I've got some issues here. You may have just seen me pick this up from over here and this up from over here. This is the one that came in the bag. This is the one that came in the separate bag for the larger pieces. It's the same fucking size. Why aren't these in the regular bag? I get it for the plates and anything big, but these are the right size. And I'm not supposed to use it because it doesn't tell me to. What dickhead did this? Oh god. That was the issue I had watching Super Troopers, and it was one of those things I was like, I can't. It's such a minor issue, and it's like at the end, I can't ask for a refund because I haven't paid anything to watch it for a start, and what are they gonna do? Just say, oh, I don't watch it again. It's one of those things. I was like, how do I even complain about this? I feel like a madman for saying it. It's like, oh yeah, shit. It was a good film, but the aspect ratio was wrong in the screening I was in. I was like, can there be a panic button? Because I want to go complain, but the two options are they start the film again, and I don't want to see the first 20, 30 minutes of a film over again. It was a late showing as it was. It was like a 9 o'clock showing, which is code for it starts at 9:30. So you ain't getting out of there till quite late for me. It was quite a late showing. And I was like, well, if they don't restart it, I'll have missed probably a fair amount of film complaining and then demonstrating the complaint to someone watching. And you know in that situation, the employee you'll get is the one employee there who doesn't give a shit about his job particularly and also has never seen a film before. So we'll see it and say, looks fine to me. Let me go and get one of the other employees who's seen anything ever. And they'll walk in and say, well, the aspect ratio is wrong. I don't even know how that issue exists either. Was it wrong in all the adverts? I don't think it was. It's something that I only just remembered as I mentioned Super Troopers, and it didn't ruin the film for me, but it plays on your mind. Right, I'll put something in wrong because this doesn't work. These bits I've all just put in are all supposed to be overhanging, aren't they? Everything about this bit I'm making now is just slightly annoying. Everything's off-centered. I saw a post in a Lego forum recently about there's a certain colour of Lego brick. It's the colour of Han Solo's arse there. Yes, that's Han Solo. But sort of a darkish brown. Apparently it's weaker than all other Lego bricks. Something about the colouring makes it a weaker brick. Which is fascinating, isn't it? Fascinating stuff. Right, I've stuck this on there and now I'm not saying it's stuck, but it's definitely on there. The brick separator can't help me. Nothing can. What? No, that is right. Yep, it's upside down. There we go. Okay, we're doing well. So far, every time I've needed a piece, I've just reached in and grabbed it. And it's been nice. I think it's because they're all different colours, so they're easy to see, and they're quite big. Is that everything? Yeah, that's everything. I'm going to change tack now, and I'm going to go on the approach of getting all the bits before I put them on. Just a little treat to myself. This bit is difficult, but then the putting on bit is easy, so it's perfectly balanced in the end. Shit. Like that, put that on there, and that goes in. Okay. Yeah, so back to the topic of the Steam sale. The Steam sales always seem to come around as I've just picked up a game I like playing again. So it's Fallout 4, and I currently can't see a time when I don't want to be playing that. Obviously, that's not true. There will be a time. There's a time the first time around it will happen. It happens with all games. So I don't really want to buy a game because I do have this very rough rule where for the most part I try not to buy a game unless I know I can basically buy it and then immediately play it. Part of that is to prevent the unnecessary buying of games, which is a strange issue that all PC gamers eventually end up with. And part of it is to save money, because if you wait, it will be cheaper, and there's no point in owning a game if you can't play it, is there? So that's part of that. And many times in past sales, I've brought games that I want and then sometimes never played them, or sometimes waited so long to play them. It was like, could have brought it now for either the sale price I paid or for cheaper, or I could have got like the Game of the Year edition for what I paid for the regular, all sorts like that. So I'm trying not to spend anything. However, the sale is 2 weeks long, so there's every chance that I'll be done with Fallout in that time. In which case, who knows what can happen. There are two things that are shouting out at me. One is the expansion for Civ 6. I wanted to call it Rise of Iron, but that's Destiny, isn't it? Rise and Fall, I think it's called. Which hasn't received great reviews, but I don't know what other Civ expansions have received review-wise. And I love Civ so much that I don't know that it will matter. And I did say to myself, I'll buy it when it's on sale. And it is on sale, but I think it's about 15 quid. And I'm convinced, I think the regular price is it's either 20, 25 or 30, it's somewhere along that. I was not aware that that's how much it cost. I know it says it's an expansion, but I don't think it's expansion level content. But I'm also pretty sure that Civ, they don't call any of their stuff expansions. They always call it. They don't say DLC. They say expansions for gameplay stuff, and DLC will be characters and maybe maps, or civilizations, I suppose, not characters. So I'm thinking about getting that because I do like the game and I'll probably regret it. But the good thing about Civ is because it's one of those games where like once it hits that sale price, you'll be able to get that sale price going forward. So I'm not too worried, and I'm not currently playing Civ, so that's a factor as well. I love Civ, but I dip in and out. Sometimes every now and again it'll be like just something like that will snap. I'll read a tiny tidbit of a history fact, or I'll see a picture of Civ normally, of someone playing Civ, and I'll be like, I should play Civ, and then that'll be me for like 2 or 3 nights. I'll just play Civ for like 8 hours. That's what happens. It's fine. I know that's what it's like. I'll never finish a game. That's not the fun bit of Civ for me. The fun bit of Civ is starting a new game, finding who you hate, learning which barbarians are dicks today, then crushing them, or getting to the point where you could crush them. And right, so you do that, and then and then you set your sights on global domination, and you normally what will happen is you'll realise that someone's got a huge army or whatever, and you'll get to the point where you just crush them, and it's like, okay, I've basically won the world now. Domination is mine. However, I've just got to actually do the work. I've just got to steamroll my armies across the map. No one can stop me. My technology is advanced of theirs. Plus my production is so much in advance of theirs, and my money reserves are huge that they can't fathom to combat me. And that's how I play Civ. It's fine. I never really finish a game. I turn off all victory conditions other than domination because that's my favourite one. The reason that's my favourite one is because I always feel like the other types of ones, you can get them by accident and the game can finish before you're ready, which is like a premature ejaculation, isn't it? You set yourself up, and just as you're starting to enjoy it, it's like done. And it's like, well, I've won. Can't really keep playing now. I lose interest. That's the problem with the other victory types. And on the other side of that, you can be blue-balled. Like, you can just be getting into the swing of things, and suddenly you get a message saying, oh yeah, France is 2 steps away from a cultural victory. And then it's like next turn, oh yeah, Persia, yeah, they've won religious victory. And like, what the fuck? I had no say in this. Whereas domination, another Civ can't win unless they take your capital. So it's sort of on you a bit more. Okay, so I've got to turn this into a square using this. Oh, it doesn't actually attach. So far, this is nothing. I've made a very big flat nothing. Big fat. There's a film called Big Fat Nothing, I think. I believe it was terrible. Oh, time is up. And the other game that's piquing my interest was Shadow of War, which is down to its current lowest price ever. But I'm still not there yet because it seems like they're doing more updates and shit. And I want the game when it's finished. Is that too much to ask? So I'll wait. I'll still wait. I don't know if I like it, but I really like Shadow of Mordor. So yeah, hopefully I will. So that timer going up, going up, tells me it's end of the episode time. What the oh. These triangle bits are so annoying because they're nearly always 2 kinds of them, like left and right essentially, and it's nearly impossible to pick up the right one you want first time, or to even tell if the one you picked up is correct. I'm trying to pile them together. I want to get this on because it kind of finishes nicely. It makes it look like a thing. There we go. Got that now. Like a really cheap knockoff Star-Lord's blaster, isn't it? This has fallen off. Or did I just pick this up and I didn't need it? What? Where has this grey come from? Okay, it seems to just be that I've picked it up and haven't needed it. Alright, so we'll leave that there. So I no longer know what number we're on. I was supposed to look it up, but I got distracted by my missing hard drive, which is an issue that I've just remembered exists, so I'm going to have to go and deal with that. But it's really coming along, isn't it? And the current race of this getting bigger, but this getting smaller, is definitely winning by this getting bigger. This front end has added a good 7 inches, 6-7 inches to the front, and a lot of width to it. So this is a very large behemoth now, and I can't really move, particularly when I'm going to be chucking that on the bottom. So that's going to add stability, I hope. I like this bag so far. It's fun. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, where I'll probably talk about my wild, slightly racist experience at a Bollywood film. I'll see you then.